Good evening, friends, and welcome to our video on the Purple Mountain. I'd like to welcome from myself and from our sister Irene for joining us for the very first time in front of the camera.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, it's just been me and Chris these past few weeks, but as things are starting to ease us a little bit, it gives us a great opportunity, hasn't it, to meet up, to re-look at some of our spiritual knowledge, some of our healing treatments. But today's video, friends, we're going to be talking all about the White Turtle Lodge. We have mentioned it in our previous videos when we talk about salts and feng shui and things like that, and breath work and meditation. So we're going to be talking quite in depth today, myself and Irene and Chris, who's behind the camera today, observing some of the questions. If you do have questions tonight, then please don't hesitate, ask them, and Chris will ask myself and Irene to maybe give you a bit of advisement in concern to your health and well-being. Okay, so I'd like to welcome everybody that is coming onto our Facebook page at this moment in time, old friends and new friends. Thank you very much for supporting us over these past few months. It's been difficult and hard for everybody, but I'm hoping that things will begin to ease off, and great opportunity for us all to come together. I don't know if you'd like to say anything about our clients that have been very faithful to us, maybe to say hello to them.
Hello, everyone. My name's Irene, and I'd just like to say hello to all the people that have been to our clinic and all our clients, and hope you're missing us, and you'll be back soon, I hope. And to those that will come in the future. We've been practicing some of our fantastic treatments, and we'd love to share them with you. So I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I think that's very simple, isn't it? We were very lucky what we do here at the White Turtle Lodge. Our main philosophy here at the White Turtle Lodge is our link with the spirit world, our connection with spirit healers that come through, that communicate with us on a weekly basis, that pass on these wonderful healing treatments, and it's our job to train them, to know them, to gain that knowledge, not just on the physical, but also with the mind and the body as well. So we look at health and well-being that encompasses everything. So it's our job then as therapists to share some of these healing treatments for you to experience them. And I think what would be great, Irene, it's not just the White Turtle Lodge, but it'd be great maybe to tell everybody a little bit about the Mind, Body and Spirit events we've been involved in. What kind of, because it's you and Margaret that do the treatments. It's
me and my little buddy Margaret, and we go to the Mind, Body and Spirits, and we've done the one that's been the most popular has been the chakra touch, and it's sort of rubbing down all the body and getting rid of all the stuff that we keep in. And it's good for sleep problems, and we did loads, and it was
we were very busy, weren't we?
Well, we were trying to promote the crystal healing, and chakra touch. It's been really popular.
You had a queue of people outside the bed,
so and we love doing it together anyway. It's really good treatment. I think it's a fantastic treatment. I think when we were taught about it first, we were a little bit apprehensive. We thought, because the way I like it is a massage with clothes on. Yeah. And it's like Thai massage. It's about shaking the legs and shaking the muscles, and you and Margaret are fantastic, aren't you? You work as a team, and you're there, and it's like I think you did about 15 in one day. Me and Chris were absolutely shattered after a few readings, but you were busy all day. It was fantastic, it's fantastic, wasn't it? And for nerve pain, it's amazing. For the sciatic nerve, a lot of people are bothered with that, and especially for me. I had that problem, and it's fantastic for that. Yeah. For any nerve pain, it's a really good treatment.
So I think what would be it would be great for people that are watching tonight to tell everybody a little bit about how you got into healing, Irene. I think that would be just to let everybody know a little bit about your journey, and how do you think healing has helped you? So I think that would be great, sort of a bit about your journey, and if it's benefited you as well.
Well, I started, I hairdressed and stood on my legs for years and years, drank too much coffee and got away with it for years and years, and then
I ate pretty healthily, but I drank coffee instead of eating, and then it started affecting my body. And it was about the same time that I came to Mahana Healing, and I think if I'd have come to Mahana Healing, I would be really struggling with that. Some of the things I've had done here, the cupping, it's just, and the water and the salt. Because I gave up coffee, I have 1 or 2 at the most, where I was having about 10.
10 coffees a day?
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
And instead of eating a lot of the times, and if I'd been here, I say to my husband sometimes, if I'd been here in the healing, I don't think I'd be as well as I am.
That's a very honest thing to say, I think, isn't it? I think there's a lot of us that think the same as well. I think that. So how did you get involved in the healing, Irene? Well, how did your journey begin?
Well, I came to Circle, didn't I?
Yeah.
I came in Circle.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to, when I was at work, I did the massage course and a few courses, and I really liked it. At first I thought, oh, I don't want to be touching.
You like the hands-on aspect, don't you? Yeah.
And, but I really liked it, and then I did the hot stones, and then we've carried on here and done lots of other things. But I do like the hands-on things, the massages and the second touches, and it's really nice to help people when I know I've had that problem and I know it works, instead of taking tablets. A friend I worked that came to our shop had the same problem as me, but she went down the tablet route and I went down
the holistic route, didn't you?
Yeah. And she's now on morphine. So
it just shows the 2 different paths, isn't it, of health and well-being. And
but it's not an overnight. You've got to keep up with it. It's like,
it's work.
A man once said to me that did acupuncture, he said it took you years to get this. It's not going to go away in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not just one treatment. You've got to have one every so often and keep it up and keep your body balanced and try and keep as healthy as you can.
I think we can all relate to some of that philosophy. Thank you, Irene. That's brilliant. I'm now just going to a little bit about history on the White Turtle Lodge. A lot of people will know us as the Purple Mountain Spiritual Centre, that was set up in 2011 by a group of us called the founder members that founded the organisation, simply starting from a home circle, 40 odd years of fantastic knowledge, and that knowledge has grown and expanded. And I think it's really expanded and moved towards healing, in particular, all its context, simply because of the world that we live in today. And I think there's such a great need now, isn't there, Irene? I think the more that we're open the centre of the need of healing, and it's not just physical healing, it's the spiritual healing that's needed, the trauma, the pain. And it's these cycles, isn't it? I think that's so important. I think
more so now. I think it's going to be more the future. I think people are realising tablets aren't the answer. Not always. You know, sometimes you have to take one, but it's not always the answer. It's self-healing as well.
I think that's very important. That's something that those that are watching, we very much promote here at the White Turtle Lodge. Because some of our teachings is that we don't heal you, we teach you to heal yourself. So when people come here, a lot of people have got this misconception of healing, that they will come and we'll fix them, and a lot of people, I used to do that, you used to do that, didn't we? You know, we used to do the same things we've always done. We used to abuse our bodies. And we just expect the therapist, the healer, or the physiotherapist, or the doctor, or the nurse to heal us. And I think we've got to change that mindset, haven't we? Otherwise, we just keep being on that loop. So really, it's trying to teach people to heal themselves.
I think people are coming to realise that. I think people are looking for something different than just going to the doctors and a quick fix with the tablet.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Because I really didn't want to go down that route. I've seen other people and I did not want to go down that route. I'm not going to be old before my time.
So I think it would be great. So some of our other philosophies is that we treat the patient and not the condition.
Yeah.
I think that's really important to mention, because not all health and wellbeing centres will look at a particular condition, and really it's quite linked to Chinese medicine, because they will treat the patient, not the condition. We treat the whole patient. So if you've got eczema, the eczema could be associated with stomach problems or digestive problems. Or if you've got a problem with your hip, it could come from your upper back. So we look at the whole patient, not just the condition. That's one of our philosophies. And another philosophy that we promote is that we look at prevention rather than the cure. And I always say to people, I always laugh about this, because people will only come for healing when they're ill.
Well, I do.
Why? Yeah, we do, don't we? Why don't we come for healing when we feel all right?
When you nearly drop in.
Yeah. But could you imagine going for healing all the time? So it's preventing, isn't it?
That's right.
And I think that's a lot of what we do now, don't we? We take tonics, herbal teas. And I think it's really inspirational, sort of the changes that you made. And I think it's great to tell people, no matter how old you become, everybody can change.
Well, of course they can. I mean, when this virus came out, first thing I did was made a tonic up that one of the healers have given us. And I had that quite a lot of mornings. And, you know, we've got the knowledge, we've got all the tonics. And my husband did giggle, but he wanted to know what was in that tonic that was keeping you good. And we've got the knowledge, and it's fantastic. It really is.
So some of the, I mean, we're talking now as we're digging a little bit deeper in the White Turtle Lodge here, is some of the, when clients come to the White Turtle Lodge and we help them, we look at before care, a part of a consultation with people, and we're often, you see, what we don't do is we don't dictate to clients. We try to inspire them, and sometimes a bit of toughness is needed, isn't it, with people. We've needed it to say, look, the reason why you've got stomach problems is because you need to deal with your emotions, or you're eating too much. And so sometimes a bit of that toughness is needed. And I think we can't feed the ego, can we? And lifestyle changes. I don't know if you want to let everybody know a little bit about some of the lifestyle changes we promote here.
Well, the thing is as well, it took me a long time to realise that just sitting and watching a bit of telly is not proper rest. And I kept getting told, you're not resting enough. And it took me a long time, years, before I realised what rest meant.
So what kind of things would you try to inspire people? So when you talk about rest, what kind of stuff would you say resting?
Well, meditation for a start.
Meditation,
just bringing it down and just having a bit of a chill in the quiet, instead of, you know, having something on and music, and just have a chill in the quiet and bring yourself down. And after you've had a really busy day and you just want to be quiet and on your own, in your own space. I've always wanted to do that, really. Just sit and just think about things, think about where you're going in your life as well. You know, do you want to be well?
Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? I mean, a lot of us.
There's a lot of people suffering with nerve pain. I think a lot's to do with stress today. And
not drinking enough water is a big thing as well.
Massive. I notice if I haven't drunk enough water, I really get a headache.
I know you do a lot of massage, don't you? So one of the first things you ask people,
It's funny you should mention water. David's watching.
David, with the water. Yeah. Oh, hi, David. Yeah, we do a lot about water.
We learned a lot of you.
Yeah, we do. But when clients come and you just know, don't you? You don't drink enough water. So when we talk about lifestyle, you try to. It's not coming for a massage. You actually trying to assist the patient to change lifestyle changes.
Yeah, you can tell.
Drink more water.
Yeah.
Rest more. Meditate more. That will help your self healing. So in a way, when we talk about work, it is work. We've got to do the work. So when people come here, it's a sacred space, isn't it? So as a therapist, Irene and myself and Margaret and Roy and Shelley and Chris, we create a place for you to come And we try to inspire you just outside those boundaries for you to learn to heal yourself and to change things that no longer serve, like you did with coffee.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's fantastic, and the knowledge is so simple.
People say to me, "Oh, I can't drink water," and I'm sorry, you're not suffering enough. Because if something made me better, I would drink it.
Yeah.
I mean, water, it's pretty boring, but a bit of salt, because sometimes I used to get a bit of cramp, and I know that I haven't had enough salt, so I get up, have a bit of salt. Water.
So what kind of salt
Celtic
do we promote?
Salt.
Celtic salt,
Of course, Celtic salt. I like the rough salt, and just put it on my tongue, and I don't have any problems with it after that. The proof is in the pudding.
Absolutely. So just moving on a little bit more, let's talk, apart from the White Turtle Lodge, the core of our spiritual healing here is Mahana healing. We promote Mahana healing. There is, we also promote Kaihana, but Kaihana came later on. Just the difference between Mahana work is training to become a shaman or a healer or therapist, just a name. Yeah. And Kaihana is all about self-healing. So we run Mahana classes, which is a permanent healing class. So you sit for years. That healing energy and years, and maybe you can tell a little bit about some of the courses that you've done in Mahana, and we'll talk a little bit about what Mahana is and what it encompasses. But I think it would be great to let everybody know what kind of courses have you done? Which ones did you really like, and which ones do you think you struggled with?
Well, we started with the courses, and every time you do another course, you think, I'm done now. I'm done. And then it intrigues you and you want to learn another.
Like
and
a carrot with a stick into it, entices you.
And we've done chakra touch, cupping, moxibustion, massage, crystal, sound, head massage, hot stones, which I like doing. Steam, we've just done a new facial with steam, that is exfoliation. And they're all, our products are all our own make. They're all natural products. Auric healing, Native American healing, the Lomi massage, and we've just done one with the hot wax, haven't we?
The hot wax on the feet,
hands, Chris was impressed with the feet, but I was more impressed with the hands. It was absolutely fabulous on your hands. The hot wax and a massage, and it goes on, but the next one I'm looking forward to is the magnetic healing.
Magnetic healing, we'll be getting into that.
It in with me, it keeps going, it's not next time, it's next.
But it's great because Spirit bring these manuals together with incredible knowledge.
Yeah.
And you think that with the different courses, and I think as a healing therapist, it's such a great opportunity for future Mahana healers to learn about crystals and sound, and learning about who you are, learning about your own energies, learning about working on yourself. Because I think as Mahana healers, not only are you learning the treatments, you're learning a lot about who you are. I don't know if you want to add anything there, Chris, about a little bit about self-healing.
Well, I was going to ask you a few questions, actually, because you normally steer away from yourself, and there'll be many people, I'm sure, quite intrigued that, for example, what sort of lifestyle changes have you been inspired to make since you've been involved in the healing work?
Me personally,
yeah?
I'm perfect. No, I'm only kidding. Wow, I've never really thought about that, so I'll have to rewind. I think from the beginning of my spiritual work, you've asked me the question, I used to drink a lot of alcohol. I'm not saying I was an alcoholic, but I used to go out clubbing a lot. I used to drink a lot when I was younger. And then when I got into the spiritual work, I sort of felt it didn't match my frequency. So the first, I think, physical amendment that I made was alcohol, the alcohol I was drinking. Yeah. And another weakness of mine is food. I love eating food. And it's something that I'm still trying to work on now. I don't drink any fizzy pop. I mainly drink water or herbal tea. I don't drink any alcohol whatsoever now. I don't smoke. That was another big one. And I think when I really got into into trance healing, which we'll talk about later on, me and Chris had a good conversation, and he was honest with me. He said, you're going to be breathing down clients here, you're going to be smelling of cigarettes.
Well, it's not what we promote.
Absolutely not promoting that. And I think it really hit hard to me, and I thought, if I want to further my progression, I have to make some of those amendments. But I think, and another big thing with food, I want to be a vegetarian, but I'm still struggling. I was a vegetarian for a year and I got back into it, so I'm struggling with that. So I'm still fighting with that. But I think I do pretty all right with some of it. I don't drink coffee, unless we're going on a service. I have decaf. But generally, I think I live in a sort of physical in the food that I eat.
But what are the key physical changes that you've made from then to now that you keep up every day? Not what you try and what you've been able to put in place.
The big thing, I meditate every day, every night. I do meditation. That's so key to what I do. I drink as much as I can. I drink at least 2 litres of water every day.
So would you say to everybody watching here, perhaps, who are looking for lifestyle changes, looking for answers to feel better, that perhaps even starting by meditating and drinking water can make huge changes? And
absolutely. I mean, it's massive. I mean, water alone, if you look at your lower back or people with headaches, when you're dehydrated, there's so many people that are dehydrated. The first thing, people get headaches, stomach problems, lower back. And drink 2 to 3 litres of water. There's clinics in Poland and in Russia that just heal people. There's a clinic in India that just heal people with water. Don't they? And with salt. You know, people talk about vitamins. It's actually minerals that are more important. Minerals are more important. But I don't know if you want to tell people a little bit about how meditation has helped you.
Well, I mean, I don't, if I was really honest, I don't meditate enough. I'm always getting taught by spirit, but I try. And since the lockdown, my husband hasn't been going to the pub, so I can't have my peace and quiet like I used to. But I do like to meditate, and we have a conservatory, and it's really peaceful and lovely in there. But getting onto the water, if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Absolutely.
Because you're a day behind, and people think, if I get really dry, your body's already starting to shut down.
Could I mention something there as well, which you said, which I feel is important, although you can't see me, but you can hear me, is about trying your best, and I think that's very important. It's no good. Say, for example, if you're not meditating as much as you would like to be doing, it's no good beating yourself up and telling yourself off every day, because that would be counterproductive. It's going to totally stress you out. So all you can do is do your best. And sometimes in life, when you're making changes, in fact, all the time, I would say, it's best to take baby steps with everything. You're not going to change your diet overnight. You're not going to meditate twice a day overnight. So do what you can when you can.
Well, you know what? We did that animal healing, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And I must admit, since we did the animal healing, I find it hard to eat meat. It seems to stick in my throat now. I said to Stephen, I'm going to try and cut it out altogether. But
there's a lot of health benefits. It's not just on a spiritual. There is a, what we call plant-based diet. But I think what my philosophy, what Chris was saying, if I do something every week or every day, and I take a supplement, or if I'm going to work on myself, if I do something with myself every day, that's all right, isn't it? You just do your best. And really, we're giving people advisement, inspiration here. You take what's important for you. Now when we talk about diet, you'll have a diet that's right for you, but there are certain things like water and meditation is key that can help everybody.
I think stress for everyone today is a real big thing. I had somebody come for healing, crystal healing, never been before. I can't relax. I don't know what I'll be like, I can't relax. And he was snoring by the time it was ended, and his stress levels were so high. And we all get stressed. It's just, and when you get stressed, I get sciatic nerve pain.
It traps in the body, doesn't it? It traps in the body. We hold that stress in the body.
So could I just ask another question,
course
Stephen?
you
I know
can.
you got lots you want to talk about, but why do you feel, obviously you've been impressed over the last year or so to be more involved in healing work and teaching and being part of it, and why do you feel it is very important, not only individually but worldwide? Why do you think Spirit are bringing more knowledge through than possibly ever before on the matter?
Is that on a personal note?
And for
right.
everyone.
I think very simply, there are, not being egotistical, there are some of us that have come back to this earth plane to do healing work, to help the world. Yeah. That seems a little bit far-fetched, but I really believe that. And I think over these, I will say this very openly, since I've had ayahuasca and Cambo and some of the other very powerful treatment, it really has helped me center my purpose. I'm here not just for myself, but for humanity. And we've created the Purple Mountain. Now I'm hoping that other people will create something like here. Yeah. We become beacon of hope. We become a beacon of hope. Yeah. And I think in a way we've got to practice what we preach in a way, you know. And I think with ourselves, we're not just by healing ourselves, we are inspiring other people.
Well, I hope so. It's like, I mean, when I was working at the shop, it was, I've always loved trying to help people. So to me, this was a natural progression for me. It's a fantastic, I've seen some fantastic treatments and people go out to be really lifted, which is what we're about. Yeah.
What do you think the biggest challenges do we face, not only as healers, but as on a healing path?
Our biggest challenge?
Yeah, challenges that we face, even in as such as working within healing.
I think you can come into danger of, a lot of people see this, and I was in this mindset of when we began the healing, it's about rescuing people and actually it's not about rescuing people, it's about inspiring people to help themselves, to heal themselves. And that's really uplifted my sort of mindset. And I think you could come into danger because the ego will step in and you say, well, I've done that work. And actually not. You say, well done to the patient, well done. Yeah. And, you know, you can do it, you know, a bit of encouragement, also a bit of toughness to the patient as well. And I think the danger for me is falling back into that trap of it's you. And I know a lot of people may disagree with that, but it's trying to teach people personal responsibility. You're not the victim.
And do you want to
get well? Do you want to get better? And I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people are so depressed. And this, the world we live in, but it's changing. We are lifting the vibrations, and it's down to us as healers to send our love and our light out to the world. So going back a little bit to Mahana. So Mahana was a healing guide that lived on the earth 2, 3, 4 million years ago on the earth. So on my personal note, you can throw away the history books because there are things that we don't know. But they were part of a race called the Baku, and they lived, there was land and jungle of the rainforest at the North Pole, and that's where they lived. There was seafaring race. And they had such a beautiful connection with the earth. They were telepathic. They could heal. Friends from other worlds came to the planet. And it was a beautiful relationship they had. And unfortunately, it was spoilt by, again, war and then intervention with other races, and it destroyed. And it was a perfect golden era, and it's the Baku and the Malawans and Mahana and Kaihana are now drawing close to the earth plane to lift the earth plane to bring peace, love and harmony. We can only do that. You know, we can talk about healing in love, unconditional love, but we've got to learn about unconditional love. We've got to learn to love ourselves, I think, Chris, as well, isn't it?
That's one of the hardest things.
Harder things, and we've got to love ourselves, and everything begins with self. So, and that's why when we talk about ancestral hurt or trauma we assimilate as children, we carry that on. And you just look at people when you go shopping, how much hurt, how damaged, and we can relate to that because we've been there. So we know how hard. It's not called work for no reason.
And you realise people that have passed that are related to you, why they passed like they did, because of all the hurt and the trauma that they went through.
It's the emotional body that damages the physical body.
Of course it is.
You know, the emotional body, and as the emotions aren't processed, they can manifest into disease and illness and cancer.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just profoundly simple. You know, we got to question, why are people getting more cancer now? Why are people getting ill now? It's to do with the emotional body. People aren't dealing with the emotions. So do we have any more questions? Do we have any questions? So if anybody's got any questions regarding their health and well-being, ask Irene or myself or Chris. Yeah, so do you want to ask us anything else, Chris?
No, you could continue.
So let's have a look on some of the conditions. So I'm going to have a look at some of the nerve pain. So if anybody comes in with a bit of nerve pain or sciatic pain or lower back pain, what kind of treatments do we offer here concerning the back?
Chakra touch.
So do you want to tell everybody a little bit about what you do in chakra touch?
Well, you just rubbing and shaking and lifting the legs, and it sounds horrendous, but when
it's fantastic.
It is absolutely fantastic.
You feel like jelly after, don't you?
But when Margaret and I did it at the Mind, Body and Spirit, they were getting on the bed and we did the back and then we turned them over and we said, we'll be touching this, we'll be touching you. And then when we turned them over, every time they'd go, wow, because it is just
amazing treatment.
Yeah, it is. And the cupping is really good.
The Chinese cupping we do as well, don't we?
For the neck and here, because I mean we all hold ourselves here as well, driving, and you have a few cups. Chris has just had them, haven't you, Chris?
Yeah.
Did you feel the benefit of having the cups, Chris?
Yes, very much so.
And they relieve the stress as well. They're really good. Moxibustion.
So what do you want to tell everybody about moxibustion?
Oh, you can tell them about that.
It's moxibustion is again often cupping and moxibustion is used together.
It's fabulous.
It's fabulous treatment, and it's often a complementary treatment to massage. So often we'll use cupping or moxibustion at the end of a massage treatment, and it's burning herbs, a lot of moxibustion sticks, and we stick them on different what we call acupuncture points. Yeah. And we burn them, and it just helps the nerve pain or helps circulation. It helps the muscular pain, and it's a complement. So it can. So from when we talk about cups, you know, a lot of people might not know what cupping is, but when you've seen a lot of the Olympics with these big red marks, the swimmers will often have moxie, and they look like big tentacles of sucked blood. Yeah. And do you want to tell them a little bit about the darker the blood?
Yeah,
it's more stagnant.
Yeah, it's more stagnant, so that's where you've got the problem. But it's not always on the side that you think. Sometimes it's on the other side. Chris had it, but it was actually worse on the side that wasn't bothering him.
You work on the opposite side, don't you?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a question.
Of course we do.
And it says, please can I ask how absent healing works? And that's from Joanne Cox.
How absent healing works? Right, it's very, very simple. Starting from the very beginning, a simple answer is we are beings of light in a physical body, and we are creators. So if we think positive, that's positive energy. If we think negative, that's negative energy. Yeah. And absent healing is basically a pure unconditional thought. Thought is powerful. Thought is an energy. And if we think about what we call absent healing, sending healing energy to somebody that, let's say, my mum or my dad lives in Australia, and I'm sending positive thoughts, I can't reach them, that energy, that unconditional love, that energy will go to my mum and my dad that live in Australia. Yeah. And it's just simple as that. Creators of energy. Yeah. We become what we think.
Truly believe that, because one of my friends wasn't well. And I kept sending out to her at night before I went to bed, said my little prayer and send out to her. And she said, I felt such a lot better. And I thought, I've been sending you healing. It's
amazing, isn't it?
It's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing.
So let's have a look at depression. Now, how many people have we come across with depression and anxiety?
Loads.
And maybe, do you want to tell people a little bit about some of our crystal healing, Chris? Some of our crystal healing treatment, because you've actually done the crystal healing course, didn't you? And do you want to maybe tell people what to expect in a crystal healing treatment?
Yeah, crystal healing, what to expect within it really. It's a lovely treatment because compared to a lot of what we've spoken about tonight, they're not as evasive really. You'd be led comfortably on the bed and you'd use the crystals at perhaps the chakra points or different points, and we have some crystal healing treatments that include oils as well, and different techniques for different problems of sweeping away some of that negative energy or removing it away from the chakras, because your chakras, for anybody that isn't fully sort of up on them, is they're energy points of the body. And if you imagine them like windmills, and if those sort of windmills, one might be turning slower than the other, and then say the one above it might be overworking to compensate for that other that isn't. So it's a basic thing that we hear all the time, yin and yang, balance, bringing balance back to the body. And quite often in crystal healing treatments, people will end up falling asleep quite a lot. And it's the lovely treatments. A lot of people have quite an affinity with crystals, and it's for the simple reason is they are of the earth. Those crystals are of the earth that we're using, and we're calling upon their energy to help remove perhaps negative energy. It isn't always that. Sometimes it's to re-energize the body. Perhaps if we've got digestion issues, just to pump a bit of energy, get a bit of movement going in the solar plexus. So crystal healing is a very good one. Excellent. And there's a variety of treatments. It's not just one the same. I think we're probably as many as 10, if not more. And it's an excellent one to try, I feel, for certainly, unless you're drawn to something particular for a first visit as well. If you're nervous, it will very much settle you and put you at ease. And if you do struggle with any form of anxiety, but it will sort a vary of issues out.
There is a lovely treatment in there called the silver birch, and it uses angelic crystals and essential oils, and it's so beautiful, isn't it? So calming. So also with depression, anxiety, sound therapy. So do you want to tell everybody a little about some of our sound equipment that we use here?
We've got loads of.
We've got loads now, haven't we? We're so lucky.
Loads of bowls and
Well, what about some of the crystal bowls?
Oh, the crystal bowls. We've got how many have we got, Steve?
I think we've got about 8 now.
And they're just beautiful to use. But sometimes it's nice to mix them up a bit. When you've been doing it for a while, you can be a bit confident and mix it up a bit. Do the crystals and perhaps have a bit of sound. If you're impressed, to do a bit of sound after.
The sounds are great for the nervous system, isn't it? It's so good for the nerves.
I prefer to do that than just a straight treatment. I like
and quite often the sound is incorporated with natural sounds in it for the music, which is, although it can be not as calming to listen to at first, it's very good for stress relief in combination.
I'll ask you, Chris, what's your favourite treatment that you've experienced here at the Purple Mountain at the White Turtle Lodge?
Well, it changes within 24 hours really. my favourite used to be sound. I used to love anything with the sound, but I love all of them actually. It depends what's wrong with you really, or what problems you've caused to yourself that week. Because the massages are, I could say everything's very good, and people might be watching saying, well, of course you're going to say that. But I can assure you it's coming from the heart. But it changes every week simply because your body's needs will change, because you might overcome one obstacle. This is the thing with this work. It's like opening Pandora's box, and you open that box and you go, well, I've sorted one thing, but the trouble is now I feel like I want to sort that as well. And then you want to sort that, and you start fixing yourself. And like Stephen said before, that's why they call it work, 'cause it's not easy. It's easier to give up. It's easier to say, well, I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm not going to have a drink of water. It's hard. It's hard work. It's always been called work for as long as we can remember, and there's a reason for that, because it is. But in simplicity, I can't point to a favourite. It changes every week.
What about you, Irene? What's your favourite treatment? What do you think?
I've had some quite
intense
physical treatments.
But you can tell people a little bit about your.
I had the one
shingles.
I had shingles, and I've had exfoliation of my whole body, and some places were a bit sensitive, but honestly I felt fantastic after, with salts, with all the salts and things we use in oils, and I continue to do that to your legs, because your skin needs to breathe. One of my clients had a massage, and she had circulation problems in her legs, and when I finished I did exfoliation on her legs, and I said, how did you feel? And she said it was absolutely fabulous. It was really good. And hot towels, we use hot towels for the flannels for the feet.
Hot towel machine we've
that's
got.
my favourite thing. That is, but I couldn't say which is.
There's an essential element to it, isn't it?
The cupping is fantastic,
but painful.
It's, yes, you've got to be brave.
But then if you've got pain, you're going to go through it.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the immune system. The immune system and cold and flu. Now, how many people suffer with the cold and flu? And
could I just interrupt 1 minute? Sorry, Stephen. I don't know if you could maybe include a little bit with that with hay fever at the minute, because there's a lot of people suffering with hay fever.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, we've got a fantastic treatment.
Let me tell you, I was the guinea pig.
Yeah, well, we've all tried it, and it's a fantastic treatment, and it's called a nasal treatment, and it begins with using the neti pot, using salt water, clearing your nostrils out, a nose massage and a face massage, followed by a steam of the nose, and then we apply Ayurveda, which is yoga and Hindu oils, and applying them 3 to 6 drops into each nasal passage. And it's been fantastic. I suffer from hay fever, and even with snoring, people that suffer from snoring or all forms of hay fever, fantastic treatment. So it's called a nasal treatment using Ayurveda nasal oils. And we're actually doing an eye one, an ear one, a nose one in like a 2-hour treatment. So it's called a sensory clearing the ears.
And that's what you need at the minute with this virus.
And it's fantastic. Yeah. It's all about using the right oils, applying them into the nasal passage, and we offer all those treatments here. They're fantastic.
Actually sounded quite horrendous, so I said I'll go first, and it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad, and it was really, I can see all the treatments in the ears.
Fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah,
ear candle as well.
It's one thing I find when we talk about treatments is actually the ones that are harder to get through, where you're not just led there and you can fall asleep. We all want to do that, sort of have this angelic experience, but the ones where you have to work and you have to breathe and you have to do your part, actually for me they have the most strongest outcome. I've had auric healing where you have to do a lot of work. It isn't just sit there and falling asleep, but after, I've never had symptoms leave me so fast.
Some of our clients all have had that.
Yeah.
And
we've got a few questions here, if that's
all
right.
Of course
We've got 3.
3 questions.
From Marie Marsden. I'll ask all 3 together because they kind of all go together. The first one is, do you use drums? The second, do you use chants? And the final one is, do you do colour healing?
Right. Well, I think the first 2 questions is something that we've not touched upon yet, is trance healing. Yeah. Now, we'll talk about a lot of our other healing treatments. Yeah. I think it would be great, because you're one of the main doorkeepers here. Yeah. Myself and Chris, we're the main trance healers here at the White Churchill Lodge, which is basically spirit healers coming through, using the body and implementing or administering healing. And you could talk about the drums. I mean, maybe you can tell people about the auric healing that we do, incorporate the drums.
That is fantastic. But then at the end, when they've done all the breathing and some struggle, and it's not a treatment where you lie there and relax. You want to get rid of what's bothering you, rid of your
like what,
emotions.
like pain and trauma.
Pain and trauma that you've been carrying, and everybody feels a benefit. I certainly did, and so did many others. And then the drumming at the end, it's sort of quite soothing. Stephen just bought a big drum, saved up for one, big drum, and it is quite soothing, and it goes on, and everybody enjoys it at the end.
So we incorporate a lot with the Native American, Indian, shamanic healing. We do drumming and using the rattle and smudging, don't we? A lot of burning herbs.
And it's about changing that mindset of the patient, and it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
It is, and we did prayer and protection, which we sort of did at the end, and we all thought, you know, we do prayers anyway, but that was beautiful.
All about opening the heart and using the different herbs.
Which we use that as well as, if I did a massage, I might be impressed to do it before I started.
A bit of smudging.
Yeah, you know.
But with the drums, we use drums, don't we? I don't know if you want to add a little bit more about the trance healing side there, Chris.
In terms of the trance healing, it's a very different experience. It can be very individual, I feel, to the person.
Yeah.
Very beneficial. Good opportunity to sometimes ask questions. It's like getting an MOT in a way.
Yeah, it is.
But it's like with everything, it all centres, no matter what it is, on where you want to go, what you want the end solution to be, because a little bit what Stephen touched on, when you have these wonderful treatments, it's what you do when you leave that's important.
About maintaining that.
Yeah, and it's and they'll let you know, Spirit, as well as Sue. She's a taskmaster. You know, she's got a lot of love, but she'll tell you, like anybody should do who loves you properly. You know, she'll pull you on things and tell you straight, really. And the truth hurts sometimes, it really does. But you know,
they don't feed our egos.
But they're not there to feed our egos, because really, if Sue came through and said, "Well, everything's all right," and you're just full of beans and off you go, she would just be feeding your ego, and you'd be living in a total illusion.
I mean, you're talking about Sue. Do you want to tell everybody who Sue is?
Well, Sue's I would say she's our main communicator within the healing. And early days, it was Matsumoto and Natsuki were soul partners, and they were the initiators, really, with Mahana. And they all sit in the spirit world in what we call the healing teepee, with many, many other healers, probably many that we don't know the names of yet.
I agree.
But Sue's the one that works with us predominantly. She comes through with the information, the teaching. She's the main healer in most of the trance healing, although there's many others that come through. But Sue is the main communicator, I would say. She keeps order. It's her clinic in many ways, you know. And she'll and you get in trance healing. It can range from treatments where there's no speaking whatsoever, total silence. And the work is just going on. In others, it could be a lot of talking, perhaps asking questions, perhaps tonics will be given, perhaps philosophies to help you, unburden things that you don't need to carry. And then, a little bit like my mum said earlier, one session isn't enough even for spirit. They'll set out almost a plan, you know, and I think people were taken aback at first when Sue would say, "I want to see you again, and this is what we need to do." But you always have a choice.
Yeah.
You have a choice, and if you want to take that route of getting rid of some horrible pain or horrible feeling, and you want to live your life freely and happily without restrictions, 9 out of 10 people come back.
Yeah.
They absolutely do.
Spot on. But into the last question about light, about colour therapy, we did touch upon that. We include colour therapy a little bit in terms of some of the crystals, but we are getting into light therapy next year using the different colour lights and crystals. So we have touched upon it in the past, but it's not something that we actually do provide here as part of the treatments. But we have got a brochure that anybody who wants a copy of the brochure, please give us your email and we can email the brochure. We are in the midst of having a website built with all our treatments on there, so you'll have a good comprehensive idea of all the, I think we've got about 60 different treatments that we offer here at the White Turtle Lodge at the Purple Mountain.
We've got another question.
Yeah, of course.
This one's from Joanna Cox again.
Yeah.
She asks, do you still use conventional medicines alongside all the different healing treatments you talk about?
Probably you talk about conventional medicines in terms of seeing a doctor, prescription drugs. Now, sometimes we do say we work side by side with conventional medicine. We're not saying give up your tablets and we can cure you.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't work that way. I mean, for an example, when you get into herbal therapy, when you get into herbal medicine, it takes 3-4 times as long to get that herbal medicine into your system. It's work. It's a lot hard work, but the outcome is a lot better. Unfortunately, we live in a society where it is one tablet society. Some medicines, man-made medicines, are good. Yeah. They do provide protection to the physical body, but a lot of the man-made medicine is changing, I believe. Yeah. We've got a lot of friends who are nurses. The perception of it is changing, which is really good. I mean, if you go to China, you go to New Zealand, Australia, there's holistic therapies wherever you go. In Western Europe, in Europe alone, we're very behind with that. Me personally, people will see a healing therapist before they see a doctor. So it's good to have their perspective, and I think it's great. It can work side by side. But when you're implementing herbal medicine, supplements, for an example, herbal teas, always be very careful because they can contradict. If you've got heart problem, speak to your doctor. But then a lot of it is about what you feel. You know what you feel. And there's a lot of conflicting research even with doctors with medicine as well. So a lot of it is we're trying to tell you that you have to use your own initiative, use your own philosophy, do your own research. You know your body more than anybody else. Yeah, that makes sense.
One of my ladies came and she said, my client, and she said, "Oh, I've been suffering a bit with my leg," and it was 6 weeks. She'd gone longer. And I said, I'm not saying don't take anything. If you need to take something, don't suffer till you come for your treatment. But you're not taking them on a weekly basis. You're not taking them all the time. But sometimes you have to take one.
But there's no, on a personal note, I don't feel, I mean, even with pain management, how many people suffer from fibromyalgia now, joint pains and stuff like that. There's exercise. When we talk about exercise, walking, swimming, there are basic herbal medicine treatments. Campbell, another one, I know we're not talking about that today. Campbell, a fundamental one that can assist, can help with people with conditions of fibromyalgia. People aren't asking the right questions.
Well, it's interesting things like we talked about, like the majority of headaches can be caused by dehydration. So perhaps just a bit of advisement, anybody suffering from a headache, try having, don't gulp it down, but a good couple of glasses of water over the space of say half an hour, and see if your symptoms go before going to a pain killer of any sort, because if you can alleviate it that way, if you've still got it, fair enough, but eliminate that thing, because quite often it can be through dehydration, especially when we get to this time of year as well. We're out and about and it's very warm, and sometimes that being dehydrated causes us more than headaches. So it's a big thing that's been mentioned, that with water, so look to water first.
I think you're spot on there.
Video of that lady that we watched, it was so
she's called Barbara O'Neill, and you can watch her on YouTube. There's a lot of fabulous, fantastic treatment.
It's so interesting.
Very interesting.
It's so interesting about salt and water. We watched it, didn't we? And it's really informative.
So let's, I know we've been quite a long time talking about some of the treatments, I think, as we're finishing off. So if anybody wants a copy of our brochure, it's free charge, we can send you by email. We are thinking about offering some treatments on limited basis. We're not open the Purple Mountain yet, we can't because of the virus, but lots of people are in need of that spiritual, physical and mental assistance, and we'll be offering limited treatments come in the next few weeks' time. So if you'd like to know more about our treatments, trance healing, some of our chakra touch, lots of massages, facials, they're all in our brochure, and we can send you that by email. But I think, do you want to let people know just a little bit quickly some of our treatment rooms that we've got here? I think that would be great to let people know. We've got 2 main treatment rooms here.
We have 2. We're hoping to extend in the future if we come into some money, Stephen, if some do. But we've got a lovely clinic in the back there, and it's a beautiful place.
It's based upstairs, isn't it?
Yeah. And we have our clinic upstairs, and we do our services downstairs. and everybody walks in and loves the energy, don't they?
And then we've got a treatment room here behind us.
We've got all sorts. We've got hot lamps and steam machines and
natural cream, salts.
Joanna, who asked you a few questions, she's moving to Fleetwood.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Please join us. Join our Mahana Circle.
Yeah, you'll be able to come and see us.
So that's so we're based in Fleetwood, and price wise, on ordinary treatment, I say ordinary, the extraordinary is the £25. I think we're doing offers if you get 3. You get 1 free. We're doing a reading and a healing treatment for £50. Trance healings are £40 because they're over an hour and a half in the consultation. Some of our longer treatments, they're a little bit more, but all our prices and all our treatments, they're all in the manual. And so I don't have any more questions. I think we've had a fantastic little talk.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for supporting us, and hopefully book yourself in. So from all of us, bye.
Goodbye.